Is the KA the greatest motor Nissan ever made?
I'm not going to say it's the greatest motor they ever made, but I would say it's up there.
Top 5?
Yeah, I would say so. All right, well today we're going to talk about the KA24E motor and the KA24 dual cam motor.
Yeah.
What an engine. Used in so many Nissan products. From the beloved 240SX to the D21. It's a bulletproof motor.
Yeah.
Made for over a decade.
So yeah, 88 to 97 on the single overhead cam, and then the dual overhead cam, 91 to 04.
And that's a good long.
Expiring in the Xterra. I'm sure that the Xterras with the KA24DEs weren't fast by any means.
No.
It's a big vehicle. But apparently it can do it, so that's why they put it in there. But is the KA the greatest motor Nissan ever made? I don't know. The arguments, if you Google KA24E, just type that in and let it autofill. It's versus DE, KA24 versus SR20, you know, down the list. And obviously, I think the SR and the KA are probably the two that are gonna clash the most, you know.
Yeah.
Because obviously they came in the same chassis with the 240SX and the Silvias, 180SX, things like that. But both have advantages and disadvantages. We're gonna stick to the Ks. We won't go too far aside. Iron block. I mean, let's start at the heart of everything there.
Yeah.
Iron block. KA24E was a 134 horsepower motor, whereas the DE was a 155.
Right, and adding to that would be the compression ratio. The dual cam motor had higher compression. Torque differences, 152 foot-pound in the single cam compared to 160 foot-pounds.
Yeah, also the single overhead cam motor had rocker arms, whereas the dual had a shim over bucket, which was an improvement. And then also they added a knock sensor, oil pan pickup, oil squirters for the pistons, and a higher red line. But I often see the guys who race and do drag run the single overhead cam motor. I'm not sure why that is. I would love to hear it because I know there's some of you guys that run the single overhead cams. We posted up some pictures on Instagram this weekend that followers sent to us, and the single overhead cam motors got so much love, which I think is absolutely amazing. We don't talk about the Ks very much, but
we don't, which is unusual because, you know, it was such a common motor in the 240 for so long.
Yeah, and a really reliable motor too. That's the thing. I think a lot of people who swap the motors, I mean, obviously putting a turbo on anything is cool, but as soon as you put a turbo on something, there's a host of other things you need to do, and there's a host of pitfalls that come along with it if you don't do it. So then, you know, the KA gets a bad name because, well, my cousin put a turbo off of eBay on his and blew it up. Right. Yeah, but he did. But we've got some KA parts here, water pump. Tom found these. These were kind of inching towards the archive. Tom barely found these. But a water pump is very important, obviously. Keep that motor cool. Keep it reliable, because something like this, if it's going bad and you don't replace it, yeah, your KA is going to take a dump.
Yeah, and these have you see this right here, Russell? That little hole? That's a weep hole. So when that bearing in there or the bushing in there starts going bad, it's going to start dribbling out of there as the heads up. Hey, replace this ASAP.
Nice.
So if you're smelling coolant under your hood, have a gander at your water pump and make sure there's not a little dribble or evidence of a leak coming from there.
Staying with that DE motor, we've got the little crank gear and collar. Me and Tom were in here kind of playing with this as if it was a fidget before we started recording, because it's such a neat design with the way the gearing is on this, and it's got a weird.
It just kind of propels itself.
It's like a wave gear. I don't know. I could sit here and mess with that thing all day long. Oil pump cover. Unfortunately, the oil pumps for these aren't available anymore, but a lot of people will buy the parts that you can kind of rebuild it with. There is a little valve spring kit that we also have.
Pressure release.
Currently out of stock on, or I'd have it in here with us. This is a single overhead cam timing chain tensioner. And obviously that kind of stuff is super important. You don't want your timing chain coming loose. And then the drive gear spindle, which I think is a really cool part.
That's the nice thing about these motors too, is that they have a timing chain, not a timing belt.
Right.
I wasn't able to see if these are an interference motor or not, but I mean, as long as I've been alive, I've only heard of maybe 1 or 2 timing chains actually snapping. They'll stretch and make a bunch of noise to let you know, hey.
Yeah, that's the thing. They start clanking, and it sounds like a ticking time bomb under the hood.
Right.
But yeah, if you need KA parts, get after us, because there's a lot of stuff that is discontinued for them, but there's also a ton available. I would say it's probably about 50-50, but I mean, we keep a lot of this stuff in stock as well. But if you're doing a KA swap or something like that, and just want to go through your motor, easy peasy, just hit us up.
All right, so Christmas is almost here, just a couple of days away. You're going to want to make sure when you get done hanging out with your family that you hang out with your e-friends, me and Russell. We're going to have our viewer rides video, and that's a whopper. Some great cars.
Longest video ever.
But it's well worth it.
Yeah.
It's well done. Russell's editing skills have come a long way in the past 12 months. And it's a really good video.
It's so good.
But lots of shout outs, lots of great cars.
Yeah.
Some unexpected cars.
Things y'all ain't ever seen before.
Something refreshing
Very.
to see. And it's a good one.
Yeah.
And that's going to be our last video of the year.
That'll be it. And then we're going to be heading into 2023 and probably be back on the next Friday, the first Friday of the month, and then probably, hopefully, What the Truck Wednesdays will be coming in hot.
Yes. I got some good stuff lined up for the What the Truck Wednesday video. So Xterra fans, if you're an Xterra fan or you know someone who has an Xterra, spread the love. Tell him or her to check us out.
That's right. See you Sunday morning.
Merry Christmas.